Hi, NARC troopers. Tonight, I want to tell you something. I have a message for you, and that message is that you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. Following a relationship with a disordered, dysregulated, maladapted person with a personality disorder, in particular cluster B personality disorders like psychopathy, narcissism, and stuff like that, After those relationships, you have been brutalized in a way, emotionally, sometimes physically, in a way that is savage. It's insidious. It's many times hard to explain to people because they don't believe it. But you walk away feeling that you have been, there's 3 stages of the abuse, right? The first part is the golden period, ideation, infatuation, where I think they even believe they're in love, right? And then the next part is devaluation. They start picking at you and finding things that are wrong with you that they don't like. And then the final stage is the discard. And when you are jettisoned, when you are discarded, it's very difficult to explain just how devastating that can be, because in essence you've been annihilated, you've been cast aside, jettisoned, abandoned, betrayed, and kicked to the curb. You get the idea. Left for dead in a ditch by the side of the road. And it's easy to come away from that feeling like you're not enough. You weren't enough to keep them. They wanted more. They wanted better. They wanted different. They wanted newer, fresher, younger, prettier, whatever, It's easy to come away from these relationships feeling so battered in that context that you just feel like, they threw you away like garbage, so you must be garbage. That idea is garbage because you do have value, and to depend on a person who is disordered, who is incapable of mercy, compassion, empathy, remorse, guilt, a conscience, or any kind of morality, or any ability to follow any kind of code of conduct whatsoever. It's all about them. They've got these needs, this hunger, and they have to feed. And it's not about you, it's about the fuel, the supply that you provide to them. And it does become where, they've taken everything they can from you. They have to move on to someone else who offers fresh fuel that's going to fill them up more. So you have to remember they're just these empty, ravenous, hungry creatures who have to roam the earth looking for people to fill them up because they're empty. And you can never fill them up completely. And you're never going to be enough. What you do for them will never be enough. All of that is not going to be enough to make them okay. It's a temporary fix for something that is a chronic, lifelong character deficit, a lifelong problem that's never going to, it's not going to be okay. You have to accept that. And you have to know that the reason you weren't enough for them is that there's something wrong with them, not you. It's not you, it's them. They're the ones that have something wrong with them. They have these missing things inside of them that make them human. It's almost as if they're not human. They can do these cold-blooded, just unspeakably cruel and callous things and not lose any sleep. They're going to put their head on that pillow and sleep like a baby. You know it. You've seen it. I know you have. If you've lived with them, if you've been married to one, if you've spent any time at all with them in a relationship, you know that they don't lose any sleep ever. They have no fear. They have no remorse. They don't worry. They don't have anxiety. None of those things. We have enough for both, right? I think we have enough for both. Oof. It's hard to walk away and feel good about yourself, to feel pretty or smart or like you have something of value to offer the world after they leave you, because the way they leave you is so harsh and cruel that you're just, you're gutted, hemorrhaging on the floor, you know, and it's ugly and it's painful and it's unlike anything you've ever experienced. So just remember, guys, it's not about you. You're enough. You're enough. You're amazing human being with value, with intrinsic value. You don't need anything externally to validate you because you have value and worth. You know? You do. And if they made you feel that you have none, shame on them. They are damaged, broken, empty souls. They're unable to understand any of this. They don't feel it. They've never felt it. And they're never going to. So the real tragedy in all of this is that there's nothing we can do to help them. And so we just need to help ourselves. And remember that even though we were discarded and thrown away like yesterday's garbage, and they replaced you in a hot minute, boom, somebody else right there in your spot. Don't take it personally. I know it's hard not to, but you can't. Because you are enough. You are of value. You are an amazing human being. And they're just sick. And they can't do better. It's not like they don't want to do better. They want to do better with someone else. They can't do better. And the same thing that happened to you is going to happen next time. Who knows? It could be a 5 months, 5 years, 50 years, but they don't feel anything real. They're just acting, mirroring. They're chameleons. They're like an octopus, you know. Those octopus are crafty creatures, and they can shapeshift and everything cool. Let me tell you one more thing before I go. When people that are narcissistic or sociopathic or psychopathic are younger, in their 20s and 30s, they go through a lot of people getting fuel, usually, or they get one really good source of fuel and keep them, and then they have others on the side. You can bet they do. Don't fool yourself and think, oh, you know, I don't think that that's happening. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. You've seen the signs. Believe them, okay? But as they get older, 50s, 60s, you know, late 40s maybe, a lot of times instead of having to do that, you know, get their fuel and feed their hunger, their ravenous, empty, bottomless pit of hunger with fresh new victims and targets, and having to seduce them and go through all those 3 steps of the, you know, the infatuation and then the devaluation and then the discard, I guess they get tired. And I guess at some point it's easier just to find another narcissist or find another sociopath or find another psychopath. And then you can be immoral, amoral, totally without morals. You can make up your own rules. You can live wild and free and just be as depraved and nasty and dirty and horrible and unethical, unscrupulous, and wicked as you want to be, because you've got 2 people that are incapable of guilt or remorse or love. You got two people together that are incapable of regret or self-reflection or of accountability. You've got two people that are very compatible because they're both psychopaths or they're both narcissists. And that's what happens usually as they get older. It's hard to get a good target, especially as you get older and you lose your charms. And, as popular as some people think that open relationships are like, oh yeah, let's just go get freaky with whoever we want, whenever we want, however we want. I really think that still the norm is to partner up with one person and try to have intimacy with that one person that you will never have with these cluster B people. Try to really genuinely love them and be with them in sickness and health. Things that your cluster B person can never do. I still think that one-on-one is what works. That forever love, respect, all that kind of stuff, that's what works. That's exactly what works. I knocked over my vitamin water. So I think that's the goal. Not to just see how many people that you can pass through like a revolving door. What is the point of that? You're not really intimate. You're not really loving them. It's just, like a freak show. It's just porn. It's just, it's a lot of different things, but it's not healthy. It's not normal. It's not moral. It's not virtuous. It's not good for your spirit and your soul, right? These people are addicts. They're junkies, and they're addicted to fuel and attention, adoration. People that just say, oh my gosh, you're the best thing in the world. And that's why they end up with their own kind. I think birds of a feather end up together. So you haven't really lost what you think you have. Try not to think about all the good times, because I know they seemed very good and very real, but they weren't. And at some point you have to accept that they weren't real, and they weren't good people. They're not even like real people, because they're so empty on the inside and in ways where they're lacking basic human qualities that make you human, right? So while you're sitting around thinking, oh my gosh, I've been discarded, and I'm for someone younger and prettier or whatever, stop thinking that way. It's not you. You're amazing. You're enough. You are enough. It is them with their emptiness and their ravenous hunger that just compels them like a junkie to go out and devour fresh young victims whenever they can. It's them, not you. And so hang on to that idea and remember that you are enough. You are enough. And you should be enough for anybody who's normal. You shouldn't have to have multiple partners and multiple people to try to fill up that giant black hole that's in the middle of your soul. You shouldn't need that. One person should do it. Yeah, just one. And everything else, sorry, I'm going to be a little bit of a moralist here, and this may offend those of you who have open relationships and things like that. It's nasty. It's dirty. It's just all about your ego and sex and physicality and some pretty messed up stuff. It's not good for you in any way. So we need to hold on to our values, our ethics, our beliefs, our principles, our morals, our virtue. We need to wait for people who are capable of real love and intimacy and respect and trust, and enjoy that with them, and know that you will be enough for that person. You will be enough for that person, not for the narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath. Nothing's ever enough. No one is ever enough. But you are, and you can be for the person who's healthy. Okay, so that's my message for tonight. Thank you for listening, and NARC troopers, keep marching, keep moving towards that finish line. We're going to get to a place where we're going to be recovered, and we're going to have happiness and joy again. We're going to have ownership of our lives. We're going to be whole, and we're going to be healthy and capable of so much glorious, wonderful emotions that that person that did that thing to you, they're never going to feel that. They're never going to know what that is. But you will. So look forward to that. Okay, bye.